It's Jennifer Sharp today, and we're already having fun. No, we are, and you're going to be too because you're going to learn a lot about the connection with yourself and some healing modalities that go along with enlightened red light therapy. Well, I say red light therapy. I'm at Enlighten Red Light Therapy. And I wanted to have this conversation with Jennifer Sharp because there's some things that she does, not just the red light therapy that I think there's like some journey she's really going on that's even deeper. And I really want to discover for you and for us too, as we kind of evolve into this about why are we here on Earth? What are the things that we actually have specialty in that we're really not claiming? What is the importance of like what you do day to day, but really when you take a step back, what's really the bigger picture? So I think this is somewhere that I want to go with this conversation. So you ready, Jennifer?
Okay,
Okay,
let's do
let's
it.
do it. Jennifer, can we talk about I wanna talk about how we got connected, and because sometimes our first step is to really say yes to ourselves, and I had this download of, I saw Jennifer and I go, "Oh my gosh, Jennifer, I need to come and see you." And as soon as I did that, I got a great smile from you, but then it was like, you just kinda walked away like, "Oh, yeah," like, it was almost like a hello, it's just
Yes,
so
yeah.
can you explain that, like, well, there may be some difficulty in people actually really stepping in even though they know they want to, or it might just be like, "Oh, hello," but they're really like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I need to go see you." Like,
Well, what you're talking about, we were at like a networking type mixer. And in those kind of arenas, it's commonplace for people to say, hello, how are you? The niceties and be like, I gotta come see you.
yeah.
Right. So I hear that a lot. And I really wait for the action. Right.
Yeah.
I want you to be ready to come in. Because if you're not ready and I'm, like, forcing you to come in,
Yeah.
that's a completely different scenario. So, what I do professionally is I help people on their journey to accelerate their healing and whatever that may be, physically, mentally, emotionally, but you have to be ready for that, right?
Yes. You have to take it's already. I was
Yeah.
waiting for that next layer. So then I went and followed Jennifer again. I just like to say things just straight up. I'm just like, "Oh, Jennifer, I was just saying I wanted to be with you." Like, "Oh, let's go."
Put you on the schedule.
But now you understand because I know that I hear that people say, "I want to do something with you." And then there's a fear behind it also. Sometimes people don't believe that they can have change in their life, like, at a different level. And so there can be some fear around that of just, like, maybe wanting to have questions ahead of time. What is red light therapy? What why does it help us mentally? Why does it help us with the sunshine in us? Like, what creates that you're just like, "I need to be part of this." Because from there, I wanna
Yeah.
hear your story too, but what is it? Like, it's not trendy even though people are becoming aware of it, but
Mhm.
why do people need it so much?
Well, it's specific frequencies of light that are found in the natural spectrum of light from the sun, right? But it's concentrated. And those specific types of light, what they do is it goes into your body, and my equipment is very powerful, so it can go up to 2 inches in each direction, and it stimulates living cells, all the different types of living cells within your body. So really, what happens when you come in and you get a session with me is you are cellularly energized, right?
Feel it. Yeah.
And then what happens is once that interaction has happened, your body in particular prioritizes specifically what you need in that moment. So each session is different based on whatever you need right then.
Yeah.
So it's giving your body the ability to heal in whatever way that you may need.
Yeah.
So, there are so many different reasons people come in to see me, but it's all about wanting to feel better, to be healthier, to have, longevity,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah. I feel that so a question for you is, are there some aches and pains that you're having or some mental growth that you're having or some mental anguish? Because usually that kind of is all this I think of it as all as one. Like if you're having physical pains, sometimes it can be a mental journey, but but
it's
you
also emotional.
yeah.
Kind of in all the different ways, your
Mm.
body's so interconnected, and if something is out of balance, that kind of has a negative domino effect
Yeah.
throughout your body,
Yeah.
right? So as the this imbalance continues, other things become imbalanced. So it's
And
cyclical
cumulative,
imbalance.
huh?
Yeah.
Because I noticed that I had a pain in my side, and it was a couple days ago, and I went into meditation. So I didn't have Jennifer here dies in the red light there because I want to tell you about my experience. And as I was deeply connected. So at that moment, I said, I do want that pain to go, but I could feel my mental anguish going on. And so I said, well, if I start letting that go, and I wasn't saying if I do this, then equal this, meaning that that pain will go away. But I connected with that pain and my mental anguish because, like, it just felt like it was together, and I just said something to myself. It was, like, more like a freedom kind of a feeling, and I literally could feel it just kinda open up and dissolve, and it's because I live in that every day thinking, "How can we deal with both?" Because one of those is, is playing a role in it for the day. So when I think I really do know that emotional journey really does affect the body, but when you're in an accident or different things, I mean, it goes back and then it tethers back and forth because there's a lot of stuff that goes along with that as you're healing. But on your table, there's been times where I've cried, and crying at this point for me is like, "Oh, I get to release it," and so there was, like, an emotional
Mhm.
growing that I was doing, and I felt a lot of love. So, like you said, it puts, like, some sunshine in you, and I've even noticed, like, with my skin and my aging and my swelling, all those things, whatever you're dealing with, I've noticed things just happen consistently because I do it once a week.
Mhm. And one thing that I've noticed specifically since you've been coming in regularly
Yeah.
is that you kind of glow a little bit.
I feel like I'm
Yeah.
glowy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
You're
Jennifer.
glowing. Yeah.
Now it's gonna give me even more vitality today because I
Yeah.
feel like it comes from inside
It totally
out.
does. That's how I see this. This is healing, deep healing from the inside,
Yeah.
right? And it's fixing something. I see the exterior changes as the least impressive of what this type of
Mm,
technology can do. And
yeah.
that's usually what starts people on the journey using it, is wanting to look younger, wanting to
Yeah.
look better. But it's that deep healing
Yeah.
that can help balance and regulate all of your systems and just make you healthier overall.
You know, this is interesting conversation is I see because I'm on video quite a bit just because of the business I'm in. And there's days that I would look the same, like, I'll wear lipstick, I'll wear something, and I don't look as beautiful, which is like an aura. It's like an inside kind of thing. It's not just I look at myself exterior, but the energy I'm
Mhm.
exuding, such a big deal. And then I'll do another day where I'm just like just really feeling it. And there's something different that looks on my face and the energy of my body and the aura. And I think that's what red light therapy is like. What we're talking about here is that you can do the same thing every day, but when you start really enhancing your health and wellness is something that really is like sunshine in your body, your vitality, I mean, your beauty is just exuding as soon as you walk into a room. And I realize that I'm not as exterior like I used to be. Like
What do you mean by that?
10 years ago, the energy just shifted.
What do you mean by that?
Like
Exterior.
10 years ago, before like about 12 years ago, before I got off of medicine, the whole deal was I was personal training and I was doing all these different things. And I always looked at myself exterior. So I'd look in the mirror. It might have been 15 years ago, whatever, but I'd look at myself in the mirror and go, fix that, fix this, fix that. So if I would do that to myself, I would do that to others. Not just because I'm training somebody and I'm like trying to help them with their body. You can't get it out of your head, and it's a horrific way to live. You're like, "Please stop looking at people like it." People aren't about that. So
Yeah.
that was the transition where I started noticing I was doing that when it wasn't okay, meaning I didn't feel good about doing it. So when I start looking at the stuff that you get an opportunity to help people with, they may be coming here and looking at themselves in an exterior way, but I feel like it kinda opens up your spiritual journey.
Oh,
So
definitely.
can we talk about that? Because I feel like on the table, I'm starting to get more creative when I get off the table,
Mhm.
and also that I tap into something spiritual even while the 30 minutes when I'm on there. I just notice that I can hear what's in the room, but you're telling me I'm doing like a little snort. And that's okay. I feel that something. But I'm like awake, no, when I came in,
Yeah, I
so
need to
it
wake
puts
you
you in
up.
that whole special space of like being aware so you can really enhance what's going on because you're very alert while everything's going on. Like your body's really
It's
going through a mental
interesting
space.
because how your body reacts to your session can also be different. And we are talking about mentally how it's reacting. So mentally, it kind of takes you down a notch. So it's balancing your hormones, it's lowering your stress level, it's
Oh,
balancing your circadian rhythm. And it's
oh,
very common to fall asleep during your session. And it because you takes you through the sleep cycles very rapidly. It's super common to snore,
well,
even if you don't normally snore. So yes, the other day you were asleep because you were
not just
just
once.
no, no, no. But I mean, yesterday you for sure thought you were awake. And
Yeah.
that's not uncommon either. But you were slightly snoring. They did have to wake you up.
Yeah.
And that's okay because
You did
when
that.
I love that. I love that because that lets me know that you rested
Uh-huh.
in all the capacities possible.
Yeah.
So I see it as a beautiful thing when I come in and somebody is asleep,
Yeah.
obviously, because in these modern times, we're always go, go, go. We're always accessible. We're always, you know, available for other people. And it's nice to have time for yourself. And when you're able to fall asleep while you're in session, your brain has taken a break. But what you're describing, what your experience was last time was like part of your brain was asleep and part of your brain was activated.
Yeah.
So it can help you cognitively as well. Sometimes I've been in session and I like come out of it and there's been an issue I've been thinking about or
Yeah.
something I want to change, and I'm just like, oh, light bulb moment. Here we
Oh,
go.
which is
Yeah, like no
interesting.
big deal. So it's
Yeah.
interesting in how it elevates your thinking and
Well, let's go into your story then. This is a story that maybe you're in right now, or maybe you're in the middle of this, or you know that you had a past like this and you want to get some more healing in the space too of your body and your mental space. What got you connected with red light therapy? What was happening in your journey?
by the time I tried red light therapy, I had been physically disabled for 6.5 years.
I didn't know that.
6.5 years, yeah. Yeah, I have a permanent handicap placard, like, yeah. I had a year on, full year on crutches, which was wild. I had combined 4 years on a cane and 2.5 years on walker or wheelchair. And so I struggled for a long time in all respects. And when you are in chronic pain like that, that absolutely affects your physical and your mental state as well. Wasn't sleeping. I was on a lot of med. I'd had a lot of surgeries and procedures and all kinds of stuff. And by the time red light therapy came into my life, well, first of all, I slept on it for about 6 months. Somebody had bought a package for me. Go do this thing, it will help you. And I was like, tell me about it.
Yeah.
And what she had said is they shine a light on you and then you feel better. And
Hallelujah.
and you know what? Like after everything I had been through, that kind of felt dismissive. And,
Yeah.
you know,
And I guess maybe even thought you had to work hard to get to something because you've been feeling so much pain. Like I need to hear something like,
well, and
well,
also
sometimes
uh,
I think that it's how you have to work hard to get
well,
to where you need to
I
get
had
to.
done so many different modalities and therapies at that point. I was just mentally exhausted. I also was wheelchair walker at that time, and I had two surgeries that had been scheduled, and one of those surgeries came with a 68% chance of being paralyzed. So I was mentally not ready to try something new.
Yeah.
I was sort of over it. And it took the looming surgery dates coming to be like, "Well, that one thing. Let me try that light thing. Let me see what happened. I can cross it off the list. I can say I did all the things." Because I had done every other possibility prior to these crazy surgeries. And, that may have been the worst feeling, body feel, mental feel, emotional feel of my life, and to be told, "This is as good as it's gonna get, and it'll probably get worse."
Yeah.
Um, that I didn't that didn't feel great, and I didn't really want to believe that that was
Well,
all that there could be.
you know, it's really hard when somebody, now I understand this, that somebody is telling you that they know your body more than you know your body. I know you were learning more about your body, but it's really scary when somebody's saying you only have this long to, till you perish, or that this is it. We can't say
Mhm,
anything different. Past history shows us that this is the way it's going to be. And you're told that
mhm.
you're like put in a box.
Yeah, and I'm pretty stubborn also. I'm pretty stubborn.
And
Well, I didn't wanna believe that because, I was very young, and what do you mean this is as good as it's gonna get? Like, I really didn't want to accept that, and, I did learn a lot about my body, but I also learned a lot during that hard period of my life about myself and who I am,
yeah,
and I did have to advocate for myself a lot and speak up and, "No, I don't agree with that," and,
open your voice.
doctors don't like to be pushed back against, and, but I was 2 weeks out from this crazy surgery,
Wow.
and I went to do it, and, but I went in there with, no real understanding of what it was or its legitimacy. I also didn't go in with any preconceived notions, and I was just like, "Let's go do it. Let's say we did. What's the worst that happens? I don't feel anything. That's okay.
Yeah.
I can just say that I did it." And it made such a difference and such an impact. I fell asleep during my session, which was huge because
Mhm.
I had insomnia in those days. And anytime I was sleeping in those days, it was very shallow. It was exhaustion. It wasn't rest, wasn't recuperation. It was just, I'm exhausted. So I fell asleep and I noticed a difference in my pain level and my inflammation level, which was absolutely crucial to how I felt throughout my day. And so I knew something real happened. I knew something tangible had happened. Something really had changed. And I was like, well, let's do more.
Yeah.
Let's do more. And
So
um,
your first session,
yeah.
there were can we go through those changes again? So in your first session, what are the things that you really
Well,
saw? Just kind of
coming
get that out.
into my session, I was rolled in a wheelchair. My husband had to help me get undressed. He had to help me get arms to the table. He had to help me lay down. And so there was a lot of help I needed in those days. So after my session,
Mm.
I sat up by myself. I
Oh,
got
the
off
first session.
Yes, I got off the table by myself, and I stood up by myself, okay? That's a lot. That's a lot, and, like, 2 weeks prior to that, my husband had to call an ambulance because he was in the shower when I woke up, and I didn't wanna wait for him. I'm like, "I can just get up," and then I blacked out. It was a whole thing, so just that alone was huge, but I really felt such a huge relief from the immense pain that I was in,
Wow.
and getting some rest. Oh my god.
Just for a moment.
Just for a moment, getting some rest, that was a beautiful thing for me, and, so I also had excitement around the possibility of feeling better.
Right, that's quantum leaps to where you were.
Yeah.
And so you just knew. So from there, okay, now you're sitting up, now you're getting off the table, and now mentally you're feeling like you can do something that is different than what you were ever told.
Yeah. So I was definitely had the momentum. I was like, "Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Let's keep going."
So from there, where are we right now with your journey? How's your body feeling? What's going on? How many years have you been in business to just like helping people?
So, at the end of this month, I will have been doing this professionally for exactly as long as I was disabled, and that feels like a huge milestone
Yeah.
moment. So,
That's a celebration at you, Jen.
from celebration. So, I've been
Mhm.
personally doing red light therapy for 7 years. I've been professionally doing this for 6.5,
Yeah.
and that's exactly as long as
You
I was
jumped
disabled.
in pretty quick in getting this business going. Like just
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this has changed my life now. So can we let's go into this about more about like what your purpose is here? Like what are you feeling? Because actually I don't fully know the answer to this. We just kind of last week went through something. It was like, oh, that's why I'm here. So let's get into it. What are you discovering at this latter part of this conversation?
So I had to drive quite a distance to do this therapy when I first got started. It was a 3-hour round trip. So it was quite a lot of time to be on the road. And there was nothing like this up here in Sacramento. Um, and right around month 3 of doing the therapy, I had changed so much. My medication had really been minimized. I had been sleeping.
Wow.
I was getting around a lot better. I was walking with only a cane, and I had more energy and more vitality. And mentally, it was like my brain came back online. And to have extra energy was, what is this? Had my result ended right there, I would have been ecstatic. I would have been ecstatic because it was such an improvement.
Yes.
And, right around then, that's when I started looking at what it would take to do this professionally, because if it had made such a huge impact for me, there are other people who need this help as well. And, so that's kinda when that process started, and then from there, about 3 months later is when I officially opened my center.
I mean, that's because you could feel it. You could feel that you could create a transformation for others that feel like whatever the depths of your pain was at that time when you first started, that it opened you up for, like, miracles when people are saying, "This cannot happen." Oh, uh, I know that we've talked about different, sessions and people and their stuff they've been working on, but we've talked about how some testimonial stuff so that would maybe you're just dealing with a variety of things. But I mean, deep depression, so it could be teenager-ish stuff, which I feel like that's when I had like a lot of breakthroughs because I didn't think I could get out of depression. Didn't even know what it was.
Right.
Do you have somebody that people that come in that are young, and then all throughout the different ages? But it's fun to hear that teenagers are starting to get involved with this stuff. And the other thing is when somebody, in here just talking about walking and, you know, one was about just, like, wearing high heels and, like, that
Oh, yeah.
she never thought that that would be able to happen for her and not have the pain.
I've
Well,
been over at 30 years.
yeah, so can you I think that's a cool
Oh,
one for physical
um,
thing too.
that client came in because one of her friends had come in,
Yeah.
and she was excited to be here to try something new, and she had sciatica for over 30 years and
Which is unusual.
she had it for quite a substantial amount of time, and nothing helped. And so her life was very limited. If she was going out to do something, she'd come right back home, heating pad or ice pack, and then she'd be done, you know? Um, so she came in here to give it a whirl because her friend had come in, and, she had come in for her shoulder and had a huge, change for that. So she's like, "Might as well, might as well." And I've helped people with sciatica all the time, right? So that's not an uncommon reason people come here. And so,
But it's a common thing that
it's a common thing
happens.
that happens that people have. And, so I got her on, and it was so interesting because right after her session, I could see the change in her. And
Mhm.
I've been in chronic pain, and when you're in chronic pain for a very long time, you definitely try to map your pain and to appear like you're not hurting because
Normal, like, everyone
to be
look
normal.
like,
Yeah, yeah, but I can see that tension in people's faces.
yeah,
I already know that you hurt before you even tell me just
yeah.
because my eye is very attuned to that. So,
Yeah, that's your specialty.
I did see, the change in just the ease, which is a huge shift, and she got some rest, and she had relief, and, she obviously booked more sessions with me. She's like, "Already,
Just
I
like you
feel
did when
different."
you were on your journey.
Yes, she was like, "Let's go. Let's see what can happen." And, she was excited about the possibility of feeling better. So she came in on a Friday, and she booked her next appointment on Monday. And when she came in on Monday, she said, she kinda danced in here. She kind of floated in here, and she's like, "I still feel great." Her pain never came back,
Yeah.
and, she said that
No, it's amazing because when I came in and started with Jennifer, I've already been on this journey for I'm a health coach. But the partnering is extremely important because you have your modalities of the things you do, but we are all in this together.
yeah.
And the different angles, it's just so beautiful. Last question for you, and just a claim I really do think is important. Latest stuff that we've been talking about is what do you see, with the stuff that you dealt with, what do you see as your bigger picture of why you're here on Earth? Like, what are you imagining the future of enlightened red light therapy and how you envision this can be something bigger so you can be out there and I think the more depths you come in the different layers, it can really help people.
Well, I really feel like that tough period in my life was necessary to bring me here. It was part of my journey, and all the things that I had gone through, really set me up to be able to help people,
Yeah.
right? And at this point, I'm in that helping space. When clients come in here, it's like, "How can I help you on your journey? What can we do to make you feel better?"
Yeah.
Right? And, being able to have had such a huge transformation in a very real way
Yeah.
leaves the door
Real.
open for the possibility of everybody that walks through the door to also have a
Yeah.
transformation. So I see this stage of my life is really as a guide,
Yeah.
right? Along your journey, how can I help you? And some of that is, you know, the one-on-one, keeping you motivated,
Yeah.
and also sometimes I've had clients that have been healing through major stuff, and it's also the reminder, hey, when people are like, I don't know that I'm changing, it's like, well, actually
Yeah.
and this. What's that? Oh yeah, because sometimes when you are in a bad way, you're this far away from your situation, it's hard to see things. So it's nice to partner with somebody
Mhm.
when you're on your health journey to stay motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So I see you as what you're saying as a guide and people feel safe around you. And so I think there's going to be some beginnings of some online stuff that you're going to be able to support people like the combination of stuff because of what you've been able to do and just holding the space, helping people reflect where they were to where they are now, what's the future that they can see for themselves. Because really, as a guide, that's what you did you, and you're very intuitive, a very spiritual being, you really are. I get to learn more and more about Jennifer and her spiritual space. Oh, it's just so much fun. Jennifer, thank you for giving this space. I really appreciate you,
I
my
appreciate
friend.
you.
And the stuff that you're doing is incredible. Enlighten Red Light Therapy. And this is Jennifer Sharp. Her husband is also owner, but they're just a mom or pop shop and they do great things. And so make sure in the newsletter, we'll get some links there for you and come and visit. And they'll start being some more online stuff available where maybe you're not in Sacramento area, but you can start getting connected in other ways too. Mhm. I love you, and I'm so happy that we got to share, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Rhonda.